Call to order the City Council regular session, September the 16th, 2019, at 6 p.m. at the City Municipal Building. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jan, roll call, please.
Alderpersons Goodhue.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Plum.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Mayor Panaleo.
Here.
Street Superintendent Barry.
Here.
Police Commander Sly.
Here.
Approval or correction of minutes for the meeting held August 19, 2019, regular session.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I make a motion we approve the minutes from the meeting held on August 19th, 2019.
I'll second that.
Vote, please.
Robinson.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Goodhue.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Plum.
Yes.
Petitions and communications, citizen comment, discussion of any topic brought before the council during petitions and communications. Anything? Okay, we'll move on to the report of the standing committees. Finance Committee, Goodhue.
Basically, our main focus right now is we're working on the 2020 budget, and we've met a couple times with that, and we're scheduled to meet again next Monday evening at 5 o'clock.
And with the Planning Commission, for myself, we discuss different aspects of industries that we could start looking more into, more researching, pursuing in regards to the industrial park. We also discussed the options of another business possibly coming in on our main drag here in Adams. But a lot of it is just open discussion at this time, and we're going to be doing additional research to see which way that the city should go. So that's kind of with that one. And the Personnel Committee. Leanne?
We're looking at the evaluations of our city employees.
Okay. And then Public Works for Cindy.
Mr. Barry's report will cover.
Okay. And then for the Fire District, Julie?
Okay. We met last Thursday, and just wanted to bring up that they're having a fundraiser golf tournament for the fire department. It's going to be held at Mountain View Golf Course on Sunday, September 22nd. And so that's for anyone who's interested.
And I believe though too that they've decided to hold off the grand opening
Yes, until
at this time.
everything's done.
Because there's items still not completed in the station. So they want to make sure when everyone gets to see it that it's all perfect and done.
Yep.
Okay. Well, for report for the city officers. For myself, I'm pretty much gearing up for several different things. I met with the city for the student council at the middle school and had an enjoyable time discussing some things that we would love to see the kids doing in the community. Gearing up for our rock painting for the kids at Burke Morris Park tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We're hoping we're gonna have a lot of kids. I ran into a lady that said that she has 6 kids and they were all gonna come, so we know for sure. Outside of the kids that we knew were coming from Head Start, we definitely have 6 more, so looking forward to that. And again, that's gonna be serving food because the kids are gonna be coming right after school. Just want to say that I love the idea that everyone's starting to decorate for the fall season, even though I like the 80s today, so hopefully we won't rush the pumpkins too fast. We'll just move ahead then with Officer Sly for the police department's update.
So an update for the month of August. During that month of August, I attended city council and various committee meetings, including Drug Free Adams County, also the school safety committee meeting, and prevent suicide in Adams County. Throughout the month of August, officers responded to 131 calls for service. They issued 31 citations and 25 written warnings, and were issued and responded to 3 crashes in the city. For department activities, Officer Reimer, Kirsten, and myself worked the Band-Aid, and from a law enforcement standpoint, it went off without a hitch. Didn't have any issues whatsoever. Officer Kirsten also attended the Adams County Family Safety Day, which is kind of like the night out, but it was Adams County's version. Officer Klaus also officially gave me his notice to retire effective November 1st of 2019. Officer Klaus worked in the city for over 27 years. He will be missed his knowledge of the citizens in the city, so he's going to be greatly missed there. Also, backgrounds were completed, and Eric Weir, who is sitting next to my right, was sworn in today as our newest officer. I'll let him tell a little bit about himself to you guys.
I'm Officer Weir. I prefer to be called Eric. I was born and raised in Boston. My father did 40 years in the military, Marine Corps. So we have a strong dedication to the country. As far as law enforcement, I've been in law enforcement for 38 years. My last 25 years I spent with the Chicago Police Department in the Organized Crime Division. In the Organized Crime Division, I worked undercover. I also worked with the FBI, DEA, Homeland Security, and a couple other federal agencies. We did long-term investigations on cartels, on narcotics, on you name it, we did it. I went all over the country with the Chicago Police Department investigating crimes. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm glad that the chief chose me over other candidates. So I look forward to serving the people here in Adams.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Glad to have you here.
That's all I got.
Okay. Mr. Berry for Public Works update.
Brush pickup continues. We're gonna be gearing up for leaf pickup here coming up next month. We have started sewer jetting. We had a little glitch. We had one of the main water pumps on the sewer jetter break down. I'm hoping the parts will show up tomorrow so we can get that fixed, get that sewer jetting. Some of you may have noticed last Friday, seeing a bunch of barrels, flags, cones and stuff down around the Kenwood subdivision. Gerke started moving in equipment today. They're slated to begin that project tomorrow. At this point, I still don't know if they're going to do any more than Vincent Street and the culverts. I know they had talked about possibly being able to even get some of the water in the sewer lines done underground. I doubt the roads, College and Kenwood, will be blacktopped this fall yet, but they may get started on some of that. I'll know a lot more tomorrow morning after I meet with them and meet with Matt from MSA. Briefly, that's just real quick in a nutshell. So.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to new business then. For the 2018 fiscal year audit presentation, Johnson Block and Company Incorporated.
Sorry.
Sure. Alright. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff Oswald with Johnson Block & Company, and we conducted the annual financial audit for the city again this year. So tonight, I'm here just to do a quick financial overview of the audit, go over some highlights. And so instead of the actual audit report, I'll just be going through our financial overview that we've sort of used in the past. And then speaking of the audit itself, it is still in draft form, but I don't expect any major changes or any changes at all, no additional journal entries, anything like that. So it is, we essentially just need the signed management representation letter and then we'd be able to issue. So it is very close to being issued here, maybe in the next week or two. But so starting off with page 1 is essentially just a overview of the audit report itself. When you page the audit report, what do you see? So the first item would be the independent auditor's report, or our opinion letter. We did provide an unmodified opinion again this year, essentially meaning that the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects, and that they are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. After our opinion letter are the financial statements. So there are two sets of financial statements, one being the government-wide, which is on the full accrual basis of accounting, and the other being the fund financial statements, which you might recognize more. So that includes the general fund, your TIF districts, water and sewer, so all the funds of the city. After the financial statements are the required footnote disclosures. So those basically provide additional information with regards to the significant accounting policies that make up the financial statements, along with the significant balances on the financial statements there. And then lastly, in the back of the audit report are some additional supplementary schedules, one being the budget actual schedule for the general fund. And then to go along with the audit, we were also engaged to compile some additional annual reports. The first being the PSC report for the water utility. And then a couple additional ones that are required by the Wisconsin DOR. The first being the annual municipal financial report, or the Form C, and then the TIF district annual reports, both TIF 2 and TIF 3. And then on page 2, to go along with the audit, we are required to provide you, the council, with some standard communication letters at the end of the audit. So as part of those letters, we are required to identify any, they're called material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls. So we did have one material weakness for financial statement preparation and one significant deficiency for lack of segregation of duties. These are the same two we've reported on in past years. I would say the majority of our clients who are smaller municipalities have these same two deficiencies. It is difficult with lack of resources, minimum staff, not a lot of staff in the office to fully mitigate these. But at the same time, they are items we do still have to report on, but they are very common for smaller municipalities such as the city. So, and then also within the letters, we did provide some additional recommendations, and I believe actually these three are carryover ones from last year's audit as well. But just wanted to remind you about those and point those out. So then starting on page 3 are starting to get into the actual financials themselves. So page 3 deals solely with the general fund. So the first part there is essentially a condensed balance sheet of the general fund. So you'll note the majority of the general fund's assets are include cash and taxes receivable. And then you have some additional other assets there as well. After assets are liabilities and deferred inflows. The deferred inflows specifically, that amount is the city's portion of the 2018 tax levy. So that amount will actually then be recorded as revenue in 2019. And then the remaining amount there is fund balance, $501,029. So, and then you'll note there that we do break it out by the different fund balance classifications that are applicable to the city. Non-spendable, so that amount includes the delinquent personal property taxes and special assessment receivables. Restricted, that is the CDBG cash accounts, since those are restricted funds. And then the remaining amount is unassigned. And you'll note there as well, we have some ratios there, essentially comparing the unassigned fund balance and then total fund balance as well. But the unassigned fund balance to so it'd be the 2019 budgeted expenditures. And it's actually the city's policy, and we have this in the audit report as well, that unassigned fund balance at any given time during the year should be anywhere from 25 to 30% of total expenditures. So as you can see, that the amount as of 12/31/18, based off of 2019 budgeted expenditures, exceeds that range. So overall, there is a good reserve there in place. Just in case if there are any unexpected expenditures or any loss in funding or revenues that come in, there is a good reserve there just in case. And then overall, or at the bottom of the page there is a summarized income statement, a summarized budget to actual statement. So you'll note that the 2018, there was a balanced budget. And then when you compare that to actual revenues and expenditures, actual revenues were actually less, about $12,000 less than what was budgeted for. But however, expenditures were about, I believe it was $166,000 greater than budget. The main reason for that is the city's portion of the new fire station. I don't believe that was actually in the budget, so then that's why you see the over expenditure of, the over budget amount there in the expenditures. And then you'll also note that there was a decrease in fund balance of about $179,000 in 2018, and so that is directly corresponds with with the city's portion of the fire station, and that was about $254,000. Page 4 is just a comparison of 2018 and 2017 ending fund balances for all funds, all the other funds. I guess the main one I wanted to point out there was TIF District number 3. You'll note at the end of 2017, there was TIF District's fund balance was actually a deficit of about $42,000. But then now in 2018, it has a fund balance of $785,000, almost $86,000. And the main reason there, and we'll actually see it on the next page as well, is the debt proceeds that came in for the TIF 3 projects that were started in 2018. So that would have been the wastewater treatment plant upgrades and the Pierce Street water main loop. So that's the main reason for that increase in fund balance there. And then page 5, as I mentioned, gets more into the TIFs, TIF 2 and TIF 3. Showing the ending fund balance or beginning fund balance in 2018, and then splits out the revenues. So you have the 2018 increment, and then other revenues there as well. TIF 3, you'll note there's the debt proceeds there of $945,000. And then you go down to the expenditures, so you have some administrative expenditures, capital outlay, and then your debt payments, your principal and your interest. And then the remaining amount there is the fund balance, which then agrees to the previous page. And then also we note the outstanding debt that is applicable to both funds. And we have the detail of outstanding debt there. The $945,000 was the new debt in 2018 for TIF 3. And then at the last part there is still $131,000 for the advances payable out there from the capital projects fund. And as of right now, there is not a debt repayment plan for that, but it is still out there. And then page 6 deals solely with the water sewer fund. So the first part there is a comparison of and we actually split it out, of the waters and the sewers operating income or loss. You'll note that the water's operating income was about $99,000 in 2018, and that was actually an increase from 2017. And then conversely, the sewer did have a deficit again in 2018. However, it was less of a deficit, as you'll see from comparing that to 2017. And then the second part there deals with the cash flow, so the physical cash coming in and out of the water sewer utility combined this time. So overall, cash in the water sewer fund did increase about $3,000, $3,457 in 2018. Page 7, another comparison here, just of the water and sewer utilities operating income again for the past 3 years. You'll note that the water did decrease a little bit in 2017, but then now went back up in 2018. And then you'll see for the sewer, that deficit has been decreasing now the past 3 years. I believe 2017 was the first full year of the new sewer rates, so I believe that's why there was that large of a decrease in the deficit from 16 to 17. And starting with page 8 is our first sort of 5-year analysis. We'll have a couple more after this, but so it's a 5-year analysis of the general fund expenditures. You'll note right there from 2017 and between 2017 and 2018, there was that large spike in the public safety expense classification. But as I sort of mentioned previous, that was mostly due to the fire station, the city's portion of the fire station cost there. But then overall, the other expenditures have stayed reasonably consistent for the past 5 years. Page 9 is just a pie chart analysis here of the general fund expenditures between 2018 and 2017. And here we're mostly comparing the percentage of the different expense classifications to total expense. So you'll note in 2018, public safety was about 59% of total expenditures. And you compare that to 2017, it's about 51%. And then you'll note general government and public works, those did decrease in 2018 due to the increase in the public safety percentage. And then you have the other expense classifications there as well with minimal increases. Page 10 is another 5-year analysis now of the general fund's revenues. As you can see, revenues have been very consistent the past 5 years. Not many fluctuations there. Slight increase in the tax revenue from 17 to 18, but overall, again, pretty consistent the past 5 years on the revenue side. Page 11, another pie chart analysis of the general fund's revenue classifications. Really not many fluctuations here either. Tax revenue percentage increased about 2%. Intergovernmental decreased about 2%. Other than that, pretty comparable between years. And then our last 5-year analysis here is a comparison of the general obligation debt and comparing that to the total debt limit, debt capacity of the city for the past 5 years. So you note from 2017 to 2018, there was that increase there of the total debt outstanding. But as I mentioned previously as well, that was the $945,000 TIF debt. But prior to that, from 2014 to 2016, total debt outstanding was decreasing, went up a little bit in 17, and now the new debt in 2018. And then the other line there has to do with the city's general obligation debt limit. You'll note that has stayed fairly consistent the past 5 years, and that amount specifically is correlated to the city's equalized value. So it's in any given year, the city's debt limit is 5% of the total equalized value for that year. So basically, if the equalized value goes up, so does the city's debt limit. If it goes down, so does the city's debt limit. So, but overall, it's been pretty straight, pretty consistent the past 5 years. And then I did want to point out too that even though there was that spike in outstanding debt in 18, only about 45% of the city's total debt limit was being used during the year. So there was still about 55, almost 56% still remaining of the debt limit that still could be used. And then the last 2 pages deal with the city's property taxes, tax levies. So the first page, page 13, is a comparison from 16 to 18, and then here we split out the city's portion and then the 2 TIFs increment portion. And so 18 would be the 18 levy paid in 19, 17 levy would be 17 paid in 18. And then the last page is another one final pie chart analysis of the 2018-19 tax levy. And here we break out the different taxing jurisdictions and their percentage of the tax levy as a whole. And this is only the property taxes, so this doesn't include the delinquent utilities and special charges and things like that. So you'll note that the majority of the tax levy is the schools portion. You'll note the TIF 2 and TIF 3, combining those amounts is about 24% of the total tax levy, and then the city's portion is approximately 20% of the total levy. And so that was the presentation of the audit. Lastly, I did want to say thank you to Janet and Nikki for their help while we were here for field work and then afterward too. They're very helpful, and they're always there for if we have questions or whatever. But so we appreciate you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for me regarding the audit or just in general? Anything if I can't answer, I'll bring back to the office and look for you. But any questions for me at the moment? All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, for new business, we'll move forward then to approval to discontinue the CDBG program.
We spoke of this at finance tonight. We need to change the wording from transfer to discontinue.
And that was, no, that was pretty much it. It was just a change of verbiage.
Right, because this has already gone through.
It already went through council last month, I believe, and they didn't like the verbiage of our motion to transfer. They want a motion to discontinue.
So we need a motion then from council to that.
I'll make that motion to change it from transfer to discontinue for the verbiage.
I'll second it.
Okay, and Janet, take a vote, please.
Scott?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Goodhue?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Plum?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Okay. Move along to approve purchase of police department signage.
We recommended that purchase tonight.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to recommend
I'll second it.
Okay, are there any questions in regards to the signage? Okay. Janet, go ahead and take the vote.
Wade?
Yes.
Goodhue?
that. Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Plum?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Okay, approve lease option of tasers, basic. That's the one.
We moved to, we recommended to lease, the lease option for the basic.
And can you possibly explain that for everyone on council?
Sure. Basically what it is to get 5 new tasers, which the tasers we have now are getting updated. They're old and could malfunction anytime. And we do use them. I just deployed one actually on last Tuesday. Basically what we do is it gives us 5 new tasers, and we'd have a 5-year plan to purchase them. The basic gives us some cartridges and batteries with that. It'd be for $1,400 a year versus if we got the other protection plan, which was like $2,000. So they got $3,000 difference over the 5-year plan. Basically, it's stretching out that initial $7,200 payment over a 5-year plan, so it's going to save the city money. We're getting the tasers up front. They're warranted. Anytime we need them, we just call to get anything replaced. And it's just, we're just paying, stretching it over 5 years. So it's equipment we need to replace the aging equipment we have.
Okay. So, did we get a second on that? Okay, we need a second then on that option to lease the tasers.
I'll second it.
And then Janet, take the vote, please.
Goodhue?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Plum?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Okay, approve Halloween trick or treat hours. Is Is that gonna be actually on the 31st?
It's whatever day
Yeah.
Yeah.
council makes it.
Yeah,
Is that the 31st was the one?
Thursday.
Thursday?
Thursday.
31st, yeah.
And 4 to 7?
Yep.
That's what our last year's hours, I put little calendars up, but that's what we did last year, what council decided.
I'll make a motion to approve the Halloween trick or treat hours from 4 to 7 on Thursday, October 31st.
I'll second that.
Would Janet take a roll, please?
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum,
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Goodhue.
Yes.
Okay, approve payment of the bills.
Make motion to approve payment of the bills.
I'll second that.
And Janet take a roll, please?
Plum,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Due to us going into closed session, we will not be doing a tour of the, I think we were set up for the well houses. We'll just have to make sure that we get that in when we don't have a closed session after council. Okay, thank you, Bob. So adjourn from open session, immediately reconvene in closed session for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Public employees' performance, SS 19.85, 1C, and for deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, 19.85, i.e. land sale transactions.
I'll make that motion to go from open session into closed session.
I'll second that.
And Janet, take a vote.
Robinson,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum.
Yes.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.